Welcome to Manifesting Through Motherhood. I'm your host, Lindsay Williams, a self-development mentor, entrepreneur and author, dedicated to helping busy mums like you manifest success, balance and create passive income on your terms. With years of experience in mindset, manifestation, fitness, parenting and business growth, I share simple yet powerful strategies to help you transform your life without the overwhelm. If you're ready to up-level your mindset, build a thriving business and create the life you truly deserve, you're in the right place. You can also find all my books on Amazon, packed with tools to help you manifest and grow. So don't forget to follow the podcast to be updated on all new episodes. And let's get going. Welcome back to the podcast. How is everybody doing? So today I wanted to talk a bit more about business, podcasting, visibility, your brand, and how you are going to sell digital products, because I get so many people saying, I want to launch a podcast, and then I'm like, giving the information, this is what you need to do, I've got a course, we can do one-to-ones, and people procrastinate so much about doing it. Honestly, I didn't give it a lot of thought when I did it, I just wanted to do it, but it's been a game changer doing the podcast. I say to people, just do it. There's no point worrying about it or being, too perfect, because you're not going to learn that way. You've got to learn by doing it. And your podcast isn't just something fun. It's a brand building machine. If you use it with intention, you might want to do it as a therapy or a business. I wanted to expand my business through the podcast because I love manifesting. I love fitness. I love everything that I do. I love supporting, busy mums, but I can't just do that on Facebook all the time. So this is my little, shop front. This is my unit where people listen. I get people listen that I don't know who's listening to the podcast, but it's great because this is my platform. I can talk more on it and people get to hear me. How you hear me on the podcast is how I would sound in person. And people get to know you and build up a really good, even people that haven't met me in real life, they feel like they know me through the podcast or they'll message me. And you can get quite comfortable with people because I listen to podcasters and I feel like I know everything about their life. But if I was to meet them in person, they wouldn't know anything about me, but I would know a lot about them. So there's so much to think about and to consider when doing a podcast. But I see a lot of faults as well and a lot of mistakes that people do when launching a podcast. And it does position you as a go-to expert, especially in your niche, what you're doing. It's your content provides, your listeners with the know-how. Might be about health and wellness or parenting. You know your stuff, so you're going to talk about it. You've got the solutions. I get guest experts on. It's, people are the experts in what they do. So I know them. People that come on the podcast do help other people because we all have our problems and challenges going on. So when I bring people on that I feel like would serve my audience, it won't serve everybody, but I do try and keep within my niche and have real talk on the podcast because that's what we need in life. And I think you build up that trust factor because you are relatable if you're listening to this podcast every week and you become trustworthy. And this is another thing about podcasting is I've never missed an episode in the couple of years that I've been doing it. Not even when I've been ill. Every week I do an episode, and I like to do it on the weekly only because I like to talk about what's been happening in my life events, even though people listen back to it. If you're a follower and you're on social media and you see me putting things on and then I talk about it on the podcast, it makes sense, there's correlation there. But yeah, people do, maybe in a year's time, I still get downloads on seasons 1, and I think I cringe now because I talk so much differently there. I've done so much super growth in my business and self-development, but you will hear that, so which is good, but it could put people off. But if you're listening to this season, you'll notice a big difference because I've positioned myself, I've grown my business, I've got passive income, I'm doing collaborations, I'm doing guest talking, I've become an author. I didn't have that at the beginning. I was just going in wanting all these things, I'm manifesting them all, but I made it happen. I created targets and goals, and I knew what strategy, what I wanted to do to move forward, as well as running my salon as well. So, some people do podcasting as a one-time thing, or some people do it as a weekly. I love my other job and, my business. It's what I love to do, but I also want to build this and make this something, more incredible. But it is just being consistent and showing up. And you're not just talking, you're building a personal brand that people also will buy from you. Like, people buy my books. Because it's my niche of busy mums and manifestors, I've got my journals and my manifesting book. I wanted something to offer somebody to help them further. I do now teach podcasting, I teach self-publishing, I do my manifesting calls where you can ring up, we can talk about manifesting, personal development, fitness, everything we can cover. That life coaching session can make the world of difference. Like, I said last week I had that one-to-one with Alicia, and it was just incredible, and it boosted me all week. And then I had a sound bath the other night, and it was just incredible with Kaz, who I think it was season 3, she did me a focus uni session at my house. And I talked about how I felt straight after, so I'm going to actually go and listen back to that. So I went for a sound bath the other night in the woods. It was just incredible, and I felt like I needed that. I feel like things have been a series of steps to get to where I need to get to. I'm kind of feeling, the grief of losing my nan, and I'm coming to the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit now, and this manifesting, and my podcast has helped me so much because it's quite cathartic. You can talk on the podcast, even if you've just got 10 listeners, it doesn't matter, because them 10 people are showing up every week listening to you. But it is up to you to try and market your podcast, get yourself out there, be visible. Yes, people find me organically, but I also do a lot online. I like to talk and get myself out there, because you need to see. It's like anything that we follow, like celebrities. We like to see, we're nosy, we like to see what they're doing. So, and you can sell without selling. So I hate hard selling, because my salon just runs without me promoting it, because I do, people say they love it, they come back, and that's how things work like that, don't they? Beauty salons and nail salons, and because we have our people, then we tell somebody, or somebody says, oh, where'd you get your eyebrows done and nails done? They go, oh, such and such a body did them. And that's how I grew my business. But this online business is completely like, the toss of the other coin, really. I've had to put a lot more, I would say, work into it. But if I think about it, I probably put more work into my own beauty, because I've done industry experience, I did my teaching. And then I realised I didn't want to teach and do all that, because it's not aligned with me, because I'm a manifesting generator, working in a college, or, marking work and working, I've worked in workplaces, and the environments can be toxic. People, there's always somebody got something to do. I don't align with that energy. I am probably better working on my own, because I work on my terms, and I don't have stress. I don't have bosses. It's, you obviously, everybody has bosses, and I've had bosses in the past. But sometimes we know how that feels if we're not happy in our job. We don't mind if we're working for someone and they're amazing and we get on well with that person. I've always been quite lucky, actually, with my jobs that I've done, or maybe do freelance for a company. But yeah, just working for yourself is great. And this, doing the podcast can really elevate your business and your brand, because then you show people that you're showing up, that you're taking accountability to what you want to do, and people ears start to prick up, because they're like, oh, she's got a podcast. Oh, she's still got that podcast a year to 2 years down the line. I love it. It excites me. I want to keep growing the podcast. And I think it's just, you've got to play the long game sometimes. And it's just like, I feel like things just evolve. So I've created some digital planners, templates. So I've designed 100 templates. They're all in my link tree. I'll pop them in the show notes. £11 for 100 social media templates. You will get an email as soon as you've bought them, and you'll come up Canva, and you just change the code, change the link, so that's yours, and save it onto your device, onto Canva, and then you can just change your brand. Just pull the pictures of me off, and just put your brand on. It's the 100. It'll just save you so much time, and that's what I want to start doing, more products like that, because I know it helps me. So now what I do, I recycle my content all the time. I'll think, I'll use that picture. And then I'll just do like a quote, or I'll do a carousel. So we can do so much with templates, but it's just doing them. And then we're like, oh, I've got to do this week's post. And, so I've got content, and I plan things out for the week. So I know what I'm going to be talking about the week. Sometimes things go wrong in a week. I get that with parents, but isn't it better to have a bank of materials that you can use? So the things that I can sell on here is my books, my coaching offers, and I've got lead magnets, I've got freebies, I've got some meditations on there, I've got some money mindset like ebook. I've got little different things that you can just see a little bit about me. It's mainly just to see what I'm about and what I do. I mean, I could create so much. And I have so much. I want to do a manifesting course. I want to do so many different courses, but I've got to be realistic with my time. And I wish I could just like freeze time and think, right, I'm going to spend 2 days doing this. And maybe like my husband's coming off his shift soon. I feel like we had a beautiful day out yesterday. I went golfing and we went for lunch, and then we picked our son up. Then we picked my mum and dad up, and then we went to the cinema. Then we went for tea. It's like the most I've eaten in a day. But I only had 2 meals that day, but it was just great. And I had a day off. And you want to be able to get to that point where it doesn't matter if a day off. I don't get paid when I'm off, but I'm creating passive income. Obviously, I've got my salon. So I shouldn't feel guilty because I'm like anybody else. I should have a day off. But when you're self-employed, you don't tend to give yourself a day off, do you? But my husband is, when we come back off holiday in August, he's going to be going back on normal shift. And yeah, I love him being at home. But also, I'm like, I can't get in a flow because he's in the house, in the living room, he's doing this. Sometimes it's good that I can just fit my days where I can think, right, I can just go and record. When I'm trying to obviously there's extra noise in the house, and the TV's on, and because I do like the house to myself, but I also like him being here. So he's semi-retired, but he will be going back. So dynamics will change again. But sometimes you need time to create your content, don't you? And sometimes I have to get up early and do that in the morning because you don't always have the time, the mental space and the bandwidth on the evening to do that. And the great thing about the podcast, and it gives your content long-term visibility. So people will contact me, say, oh, I listened to that podcast, I loved it, or I've connected with your guest. And, like Instagram and Facebook, it can disappear within 24 hours and it just gets buried really. But the podcast, as long as you're paying your server every month, it lives forever, and you can rank on Google, be found on Spotify. I do blog posts. We can do so much. So what I talk about today, so now I'm going to talk a bit about podcasting this week. So I'm going to create content from this episode and do some carousels and talk about things, then do some lives. So as you can see, because we think, I don't know what to talk about this week, and I'm stuck, I've got that writer's block. But then when I'm just talking now, I've not really scripted this because I've written points down that I want to talk about. But then I can just go, I've got a week now. I mean, I'm not going to post every day, so it might be 3 times a week I'm going to talk about certain aspects. Because obviously I want to sell my course, because I want people to, that's what I'm known for, podcasting, self-publishing. And, the manifesting and self-development, I love doing that. So you know what you're going to get from me, because when you listen to anything manifesting and self-development, it's all about improving you and your life. And you listen to me, I want to live my best life. I've got a child with additional needs. I have to make sure that I show up for him. I need to be happy. And manifesting doesn't have to be a woo thing. People can be like, oh, what's all this manifesting like? And I know people say that, and people think, here she goes again. But I'm not bothered, because what place are you in and what place am I in? I'm in a really solid place, and it makes me feel really excited. And I get excited for the podcast. I've been talking for 12 minutes, and where's 12 minutes gone? You can just make the podcast 12 minutes. I can talk. Guests come on, can be up to an hour. You don't have to talk forever, but you get used to talking. But, it's like time just goes so fast. Like when you meet up with girlfriends and you're like, it's 3 hours have gone. I've got to get back for the children. And sometimes you've only got an hour to meet up with people. But it is, the podcast is, you can batch a lot of episodes for the month. Or I think I'm going to do some evergreen posts, because it's good for, obviously, over the summer holidays to have some generic posting. So I probably am going to do that. But I do like to be fresh, because I feel like my vibe reflects what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how I'm sounding. So the main talking points of today I want to cover is why consistency builds trust, because you are loyal friends, and you keep listening. And what I find at the minute is I see people they've launched podcasts. I've tried to give people free advice, and they say, they're doing all this, and then right, so I'm listening to their podcast. Then there's no podcast for months, and then I'm coming back and I'm rebranding and doing this. I'm like, but why? Because the thing is, you're ghosting your listeners. They stop checking in. I stop checking in when there's certain podcasts that don't show up, because I forget them. They go to the bottom of the thing. And then how can I trust that person to deliver? I listen to podcasts, I love Luana, the podcast, twice a week. I listen to that, and I know it's showing up every single week. And there's certain podcasts I listened to in the past, and I think, I've not heard that. There's quite a few podcasts that I listen to. I've got my guilty pleasure podcast that I listen to. But if that person stopped doing episodes, saying I'll be back in 3 months, well, why? What's the point of coming back in 3 months? Just create content for 3 months. You're obviously not wanting to build a brand or get any sponsors on the podcast or build up the retention, because it could really damage your stats. You can move. Your momentum is everything. You're showing up. You're building authority, and people are with you, and then you ghost them, and then you don't give them, well, you might say I'm going for a break, but then people aren't really interested in you because you're kind of like old news. We all know what it's like. Even, you are forgotten about really easy. And it's, you can lose your motivation. The longer you leave something, it is really hard to get back to it. And I said just do bi-weekly one, a fortnightly podcast. It doesn't have to be weekly. Just be consistent and show up. So even if you're doing a season, stop leaving episodes. Because I have friends that do podcasts and then they've not done one for a while. It's because it's not showing up on a weekly basis going, such a body's downloaded. So like when I upload this, you'll get, if you're following, and I hope you are following, it will say Manifesting Through Motherhood is, uploaded an episode, and then you kind of see my name regularly. You're watching it all the time, popping up. And if you're building a brand as well, then you've got to think wisely and strategically how you're going to do this. Because if you're doing coaching and you want to sell products, it's your voice-led funnel. And if you are ghosting your listeners, then you're just going to, if I went missing for a month, you'd be like, oh, and then I come back like, hi, and with this vibrancy, it's a bit toxic, because you'd be thinking, well, where have you been? Like, don't just come back here, because people can go off you. People can turn, like, in no time. It's like celebrities when they're not showing up online, they're like, oh, they're kind of boring, because people can turn. We're human. This is what we do. So it's just being consistent. If you are going to launch podcasts, I say to people, just don't rush into it. And I see people rushing into it, and I say, I've got this course, please watch the course. It's not expensive. I'm going to try and do it on my own. Yeah, just do it on your own then. But there's no strategy. You don't listen to what I'm saying. There's a lot more to it. I'm telling you what I wish I knew. I mean, I've never left an episode, and I know that if you don't show up, it's like if I close my salon for a month or 6 weeks, people would have to go somewhere else, and I might not get people back. They might come back, but then you might feel guilty, and you're with somebody else. It's podcasting is just, it's like an everyday thing that you embed into your life, and if you aren't showing up, you're also delaying someone's breakthrough, because what happens is you're helping and supporting people, and I might be talking about manifesting and self-development, and then I ghost you, and then you're like, oh, Lindsay was on a right good roll there. And because that's what we do, we people don't realise, because sometimes you might think, oh, I haven't got a lot of listeners, or people aren't really, I don't have people will comment and say things. I'll have people that will say, I love that episode, I felt like you were talking to me. But then I have people that, I'm in like China, honestly, I'm in about 32 countries, and there's countries I've never heard of. So that's like amazing that people are listening to the podcast. They probably don't even have social media, and they don't contact me. I have a lot of followers that come through on a daily, but that's probably, they're probably podcast listeners. And it is nice when people, add me, because sometimes I don't add them if they're on Facebook, Instagram I do, but it is nice if I know that you listen to the podcast, because then I can create my community and we can speak, and you can ask me anything, and I will give my listeners more time and more energy. So yeah, so just if you are thinking about doing a podcast, I've got the course. It's £44, and if you think that's not enough, the course, I've got like a course, and I'm on the video on the course. But if you feel that's not enough, then I can do work with you for 2 months, and we'll do everything's in my link tree. We can do weekly Zooms where we'll book in every week, and we'll help you with everything, your Canva, your everything, even does your confidence talking behind camera. Don't let little things hold you back, because you're working on your self-development. You're listening to this podcast, you're working on your self-development. We're here to improve our life, our health, our fitness, our business, and that's why you listening to the podcast. And I just love having new listeners that tune in and message me, say, oh, I love manifesting, because I think it's great, because I'm like, yes, because then you feel like you are talking to somebody. And I had a lovely new listener the other day. She's just started listening. Hey, Hannah. And it's just great that people message me. I love that when people message me saying, I'm going to listen to the podcast. And because it's, not everybody will always say, I'm listening to your podcast. You'll have people that'll just be like lurkers that listen to your podcast. I listen to like Bigfoot podcasts. I don't contact the horse because it isn't my niche, but I enjoy like I listen to Uncanny. I love like spooky ones and crazy things. But I'm also probably because I'm into the spiritual and the manifesting, I do like stories that like take you places because I think that's my like escapism. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So let me know how you are getting on, and let me know if you purchase any of those digital products. They are at the top of my link tree, but I will put the link tree in my show notes. And they're done for you. It's 100. They'll just last you for the rest of the year, but I am creating some more, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So anyway, I think that's it. Yeah, I had a brilliant day yesterday, and yeah, honestly, these weeks are going so fast. It's school holidays soon, so I'm like, oh, but I am going away, so 2 weeks of that are going to be on holiday, so it kind of like breaks it up. There's only like 4 weeks left then, isn't there? So yeah, honestly, the school holidays do come round really fast, don't they? And then they're back at school. So my son's gone for a taste today up in year 10. So he's with the big children. So he's really excited. And then I noticed this morning, he's got 2 little zits on his chin. He's got such a pale complexion. And he's like, oh, look, his spots and things are going to start now. I'm not ready for his voice changing or anything like that. So yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? We've got to prepare ourselves. They're still our babies. So anyway, I will leave it there. So I will speak to you all soon. Have a great week and happy manifesting. See you later. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you feel inspired to take action and manifest the life you deserve. Don't forget to come and join me over on social media and Instagram at Busy Mums Fitness Corner for more tips, motivation and behind the scenes. And also be sure to check out my books on Amazon. They're designed to help you manifest your dreams and grow. And if you're ready to take the next step and work with me, you can head over to my link tree for all the details. Let's make magic happen together. So until next time, keep manifesting and stay amazing.